How's it going, YouTube? It is Docky or Docky Style Gaming, and we're back at it again with another Anthem news video for you all today. Now, this video is going to be a pretty big one because we got a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of dev stuff, some Interceptor and Storm information that's finally been revealed, Interceptor Ultimate Teas, gear perks, demo details, solo combos, gun loadouts, and just so much more. So definitely stay tuned to this video because there is a lot of stuff to talk about. So without further ado, I'm not even going to make you guys wait. We're going to get straight into the most important part of this video first, which is the Interceptor and Storm melee that have finally been revealed. So, for those of you who haven't watched my Javelin breakdown videos, if you haven't, I do have a playlist on the channel, so go check those out. But there was some information that was left out on these EA articles, mainly the Interceptor and Storm's melee abilities. Now things are actually taken off of those articles as well. Now, I don't know what the reason behind it, but I know some abilities and articles were taken out of the actual section of some of these articles. So again, another reason to go check out those videos because there is some information that now you can't even find online. But back to the Interceptor melee. So now the article for the Interceptor has been updated with the melee ability, also with the Storms, and it seems like all the teases that the devs have been giving us about swords or blades is essentially right. So according to the article, the Interceptor's melee are double-bladed daggers, and we do have a description of it. The summary of the melee weapon start: the Interceptor uses a pair of double-bladed daggers to deliver a multi-hit flurry of slashes, dealing damage in a chain of powerful attacks that can be continued indefinitely. Now, it's awesome to finally have some information on the Interceptor melee, but it's not too big of a surprise considering, again, the devs have been teasing a lot that the Interceptor will be using either swords or bladed weapons. And then also in this concept image that we see right here, I've actually even used this image as one of my thumbnails, we see that on the arm of the Interceptor, he does have a dagger that appears to be sticking out. So it seems like this was something that was always planned, and we've actually seen since the beginning of the E3 2018 gameplay reveal. So again, happy to see that we actually have it and we have some type of information on what the actual ability is going to do, but it's not too big of a surprise. Now, the Storm's melee is something we haven't seen anything on, and it's called Fiery Strike. The description goes on to say, the Storm uses the seals on its arms to deliver an explosive flash that deals damage and knocks back enemies that have gotten too close, giving the Storm time to reposition at a safe distance. So according to the description, which is pretty cool, it appears that the Storm's melee is actually a stun ability. They said it delivers an explosive flash that deals damage, but also knocks back enemies, allowing you to reposition yourself and most likely your team so you can get out of the line of fire or the fight if you need to reposition or get the high ground, or even flank an enemy. So I think that's going to come in handy a lot and be really useful in team situations. That's an awesome melee ability, and I can't wait to use it because we all know I'm Storm Master Race all day. So now we finally have some form of information on the melee abilities for the Storm and Interceptor. Those have been two things we haven't seen at all in any gameplay or any footage, so I'm glad we at least have some information on it, and those are now updated on the official Anthem EA page. Also, another thing that I noticed that was updated as well on the EA pages were all of the Javelin's weapons, meaning the weapons that they could and couldn't use. So the Interceptor, Ranger, and Storm, according to the articles, can use every weapon in the game except heavy weapons, meaning the Colossus weapons. Now for the Colossus, that says he can use any weapon in the game outside of pistols and SMGs. So those are the two weapons the Colossus can't use. So only one weapon restriction for the Storm, Interceptor, and Ranger, and 2 weapon restrictions for the Colossus Javelin. Now that we got all the new article information out of the way, let's get into some dev information. So first thing is going to be coming from Ben Irving and is a follow-up to my most recent Anthem news video. So in the most recent video, we were talking about our first look at the Storm's ultimate ability and how we weren't 100% sure on what that third element is. Well, Ben Irving did do a follow-up tweet when asked what this third element was, and it is indeed fire. According to Ben Irving, that element is a fire element. Now again, I did say in that video that it's most likely fire, but I did want to speculate because it could have been something else. But according to Ben Irving, it is the fire element. It's just a little blurry, so we couldn't really tell the actual details of that element. The next tweet that came from Ben Irving was just more development shots of the game being made, and if you look closely at the image, it is another area of Fort Tarsus. So that's pretty cool, and it's always nice to get cool and new shots of the game. Next, we'll move over to John Warner, and actually no new information from John Warner, but there were 2 interviews that he did. He did one interview with Red Bull, and then he also did an interview with the Matador Review. So if you guys want to, you can go check those out. I'll probably leave a link to them in the video description if you want to check those out as well, because they are a good read, and he does talk about Anthem in both of them. The next dev's tweets that we'll be covering come straight from Mike Gamble, and the first tweet was talking about the Interceptor's Ultimate, and what he had to say on it was, the Interceptor's Ultimate is heavenly, and by far his favorite. Now, we know Mike Gamble is a Storm Master Race fan, but it seems like he has some love for the Ultimate of the Interceptor, which is again an Ultimate we have yet to see, so hopefully it is as good as he says it is. Because this tweet probably just got a bunch of Interceptor fans really hyped, and I'm sure they don't want to let them down. The next tweet was Mike Gamble confirming that there will be replayable content in the demo. So I'm actually pretty happy to hear that. I kind of assumed there would be, but hopefully it's not just playing the same demo missions over and over, and it's actually different missions in general in the game. They did say the demo will be a demo of the full game, but again, we don't know how much of the game they're going to let us play. Clearly, they're going to cut some stuff out as to not spoil the game for us, but I wonder how much replayable content will actually be in this demo, according to Mike Gamble. And then last tweet from Mike Gamble was also a dev shot as well, and when asked about the image, he said it's something the Shaper artifact created. Now, taking a closer look at the image, it looks like a destroyed area or even a fiery location, so I'm not sure what it actually created, unless he means the actual ecosystem in this fiery landscape, because at the moment, all we've seen of in Anthem is just green, grass, forest, underwater, caverns, caves, and things of that nature. Now, I have discussed the northern part of Anthem where the Dominion reside, and we have seen that there are fiery locations in the game, so maybe that's how these locations were created, was by the Shaper artifacts themselves. The next tweet is another image from another dev saying, getting ready for another day of playing Anthem. We are at the phase of the project where you can play the whole game, give feedback, iterate, and polish. Feels great to see all the parts working together. So it's awesome to see how fast this team is progressing in terms of the development in Anthem, especially now that they're in alpha. Hopefully this means we'll be getting some alpha releases or beta releases pretty soon, but again, we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we get something, or at least for this channel so I can bring y'all some new content or just new footage in general. And the last bit of information comes from Reddit. 2 brand new photos straight from Steve Anderson, who's actually one of the devs that have been following me on Twitter as well, but he posted 2 awesome new shots of Anthem, and these photos both really make me want a photo mode in Anthem, especially after playing Spider-Man and seeing how well that photo mode was done. I'd really love to see a photo mode in Anthem, because it's not just taking a screenshot, look how beautiful it is. The photo mode in Spider-Man, if you haven't actually messed around with it, you'll understand what I mean by I really want a photo mode in Anthem, especially after seeing both of these shots. Alright, now I told you this was going to be a pretty long video, and we are just now getting to the Mark Dara related questions. So let's cover all the questions that was asked to Mark Dara this past week on Twitter. The first tweet to come from Mark Dara was asking if there would be other abilities similar to the Ranger's Muster Point that provide various team boost, buffs, healing, and protection, and according to Mark Dara, he did say yes. Now, of course, this is to be expected, but still awesome to hear it confirmed. Speaking of confirmed, another thing that was confirmed, and I've covered on the channel before, but Mark Dara did say that there will be a melee ability for each Javelin in the game. The next question is asking about gear perks and about what rarity would we start to see these perks on our gear. And according to Mark Dara, we should start seeing them as early as uncommon gear. So uncommon gear and up, we will be seeing gear perks for our gear that we get in game. Speaking of gear, Mark Dara did confirm once again that Ultimates and Melees are both gear slots and they are not changeable at launch. Now again, these have both been two subjects they said they are really interested in doing and potentially can do, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to get interchangeable Melees and ultimate abilities out for launch of the game, but most likely expect them out later on down the line of the game's life cycle. Next question that was asked to Mark Dara was if there would be inverted flight controls, and according to Mark Dara, yes, there will be. On this next tweet, Mark did confirm that with the right gear, you can pull off combo damage solo. So, as we've seen in a lot of the different footages, you can do combo damage, meaning two different elemental attacks make a combo attack, and according to Mark Dara, with the right gear, even if you're solo, you can pull off different combo attacks. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it kind of makes sense. So, you know, nothing too new, but that is something that is now confirmed to be able to be pulled off solo. This next tweet was all about gear attachments and weapon loadouts. Now, Mark Dara did confirm that in addition to your 2 weapon loadouts, or 2 guns at least, you'll also have 3 gear loadouts, meaning if you want to have a multi-mortar, which is a shoulder gear attachment, and a flamethrower, which is an armor gear attachment, you can have both of those equipped at once. And then of course this 3rd gear attachment is still a mystery. And then the next tweet is actually a follow-up to this tweet, and Mark Dara did say if you want to, you can have 2 of the same guns equipped at the same time. So if you want to be rocking double shotguns, double assault rifles, double pulse rifles, double pistols, double SMGs, any of that you can in the game. This next question was something that was already covered in an older video, but was Mark Dara just double confirming that there is a day and night cycle in Anthem. Now these next 2 questions actually tie into each other, and I'm glad that he discussed these in a bit more detail. So the first tweet was actually Mark confirming that your friend's story won't jump ahead if you are further in the story than them. Meaning, if a friend tags along with you and is doing a mission they haven't completed, it won't push them ahead to the same level that you are. They'll still have to complete the basic missions leading up to that point, even if they help you out of the context of their main story. Though, according to this next tweet, that might be changing. So as a follow-up to that, they were asking if that player would have to repeat that mission when they get to it. Now what Mark Dara had to say on this was, not only will they not get credit for the mission because they don't qualify for it when they run it with you if they're not at that point, but they're still not 100% settled on whether you can even play a mission from the future. And what they mean by that is they're not sure if newer players will be able to join friends that are in missions that they haven't even completed yet or unlocked that are later in the game, potentially to avoid spoilers, which is understandable and makes sense. But the OG players or veteran players can go back and help newer players in older missions because they've already completed them. So this still seems to be something that they're still tweaking, and again, he already said they're not 100% settled on it for sure, but I guess we'll have to wait and see when the release of the game comes out or when they actually come up with a decision and let us know a little later on. So that's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. Again, sorry that this is a very long video, but again, I kind of said from the beginning that it probably would be a pretty big one because there's a lot of stuff to cover and a lot of stuff to talk about. But if you stuck throughout all 14 plus minutes of this video, let me know which Javelin you're going to unlock first and what your color loadout's going to be for it as well. So once again, thank you all for watching to the end of this video. If you haven't already, or if you can, go follow me on my Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. On Instagram and Twitter, I also post when I'm about to be posting a brand new video and when I'm about to go live on Twitch or YouTube. So definitely go follow those if you haven't already. And if you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon. Link to all of those will be in the video description. Patreon has some pretty dope incentives to join, so if you're interested or want to help out the channel, definitely go check that out. So once again, thank you all for watching. You guys are the best. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the subs. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.